Hello everyone, welcome back. This video is only going to be a few minutes. I just wanted to respond to a few comments that I've been receiving on the channel with regard to Graham Moore and specifically what's going on with Runcorn Helsby. Some people don't seem to get it, and some people seem to be almost baiting me into a response which I'm not willing to give. At the end of the day, it's still live legal proceedings, and you have to be careful what you say, how much, and who could be watching at the end of the day. And there's a couple of times I feel like people have deliberately set out to bait me. Now, I'm going to say this, right? Runcorn Helsby happened. Sarah Pochin won by 6 votes after a recount. The problem is the way the election was apparently handled. Okay, and this came to the fore where Graham got 50 votes, and he got 50 votes in another election a decade previously. The chances of that happening, according to the Royal College of Statisticians, is 1,000,000 to 1. So, in other words, he'd have to stand in 1,000,000 elections for it to happen twice. You see the problem? And what they actually do at the elections, they bundle them. They actually bundle them in groups of 50. So when you get your ballot paper and you go and vote, you get an outer circle which counts them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you end up with a load for Labour, a load for Tories, and they're bundled in specific bundles of 50. So what you do, you get 50, say, Tory votes. You put Labour on there, clip them together. So then that 50 Tory votes suddenly looks like 50 Labour votes. Graham, with his own eyes, saw that he got more than 50 votes, and so did other independent witnesses see the same thing. So if it happened to Graham, did it happen to other people that stood in that election also? And Sarah Pochin, was she in a position where she should have got more than 6 votes? With the public sentiment towards the other parties at the moment, you would have thought so. So there are very, very serious questions to answer. There were improprieties going on in another election not too far away. And also there's been some comments about Andrew Bridgen's election I've noticed as well. So you've got systemic fraud going on all across. Now, under the Representation of the People Act, if you've voted in an election or if you've stood in an election and you don't agree with the result or you suspect there's some kind of foul play, you're entitled to call an election petition, which basically is a court hearing where you present the evidence to them, and then they decide whether there's an issue with the election and it needs binning and redoing or what it is. That's the situation we're in. Now, somebody made a comment. They said that we've got the hump that there was no ballot recount when, in fact, there should have been. Where, in fact, there actually was. So what we're going on about. The point was to save thousands upon thousands upon thousands of pounds of court costs, which come out of the council taxpayers' pockets, by the way. The returning officer, to put a stop to all of this court action, could have said, all right, we'll do one final recount. Let's settle it. At any time, he could have done that. And he didn't. So what's happened? You've got thousands of pounds worth of court proceedings. That's where we're saying about the recount. He could have stopped all the court proceedings and could have said, okay, fair cop. Let's take one more look at it and, go from there. Now, instead, we've got to get a court to go through the proceeding at a cost of many thousands of pounds where it could have been avoided. Now, I've had people push me a little bit over the past few days. In fact, there's been a few comments trying to get me to say something, trying to get me to slip up or trying to get me to push it a little bit too far. Because what will happen, of course, where you've got people involved in all of this, there will be people watching for comments and watching for little snippets of information they can use and pry out and go, well, actually, Your Honour, blah, 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 blah. And then it does damage. And I will not engage any further than I have for that very reason. When there is a ruling, when there is something concrete to say, we'll come back and do this again. And you will know everything that I then know. What we're doing at the moment, we're waiting for the judgment from the hearing that took place on the 16th of October. If it's found in Graham's favour, then there will be a hearing in Chester at the beginning of November to decide whether this election really was fraudulent and whether we need to go and have a look at it all again. If it's not found in Graham's favour, then there will not be a hearing in Chester. It's very simple. Now, I will let you know when I know more, and I hope that clears up any indiscrepancies or discrepancies in what I've said so far. Thanks very much, everybody. I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.